Did you know Anatolia was a melting pot of ancient religions that shaped the course of history? Dive with us into the captivating heart of Asia Minor, where we'll unearth the intriguing tales of nomadic ancestors and the birthplaces of civilizations. Get ready to discover a world that's both familiar and mysterious all at once. Understanding this region gives insight into the deep-rooted beliefs and traditions that have influenced our world today. Long ago, around 10,000 to 9,000 BCE in a place called Anatolia, small groups of people moved around hunting and gathering. As the cold times ended and the land warmed up, trees grew and there was more food. With more food around, more people lived in Anatolia. They created new tools to help them and began to trade and share with neighboring groups. This sharing helped them learn about farming and living together in bigger groups. They relied on animals, fish, and plants for food. They made tiny, sharp tools called microliths, which were essential for hunting and preparing food. There's an ancient mystery spot in Anatolia called Göbekli Tepe, near the city of Sanliurfa. It's one of the oldest places built by humans for some special reason, maybe religious. The main feature of this place are huge stone circles with giant stone pillars shaped like a T. These pillars, some as tall as two-story buildings and as heavy as 4 small cars, have detailed carvings of animals and strange symbols. People still wonder about the real reason Göbekli Tepe was built. Was it a church? A meeting spot? Some believe it might show the shift from wandering groups to settled farming folks because it's from a time before pottery and advanced farming. Göbekli Tepe is interesting because people didn't seem to live there all the time. It might have been a place they visited for special ceremonies like Stonehenge in England. Around 8000 BCE, someone buried the site on purpose. No one knows why, but thanks to that, the site is in great condition. Göbekli Tepe has given us new information about ancient religion and art. It makes us think differently about how civilization began and how people in the past practiced their faith. Next, let's talk about Jericho, one of the oldest cities. People started living there before 9000 BCE. These early settlers were attracted to its good land and water. They made their houses from mud and got food from farming and hunting. Naxos, on the island of Crete, is another ancient city that might be even older than others. Around 7000 BCE, farming communities lived there. Later, the famous Minoan Palace was built on the same spot. The time between the Stone Age and the Bronze Age is called the Copper Age, from 4500 to 3300 BCE. People started using copper for tools and weapons. This made farming and hunting easier, leading to bigger communities and growth in culture and religion. In the Copper Age, trading grew a lot. People wanted copper and other metals, and this led to sharing ideas and techniques. Those who were good at making copper tools and weapons became important in society. Religion was a big deal in the Copper Age. They built massive structures like Stonehenge and the Gantaya temples in Malta, which show they cared about life after death and honoring ancestors. They also had fancy burial customs, like putting valuable items in graves. During the Copper Age, big cultures popped up. The Sumerians in Mesopotamia, the Minoans in Crete, and early Egyptians in the Nile all made big strides. They set up governments, built grand buildings, and created art and languages. Religion was super important, and as people traded, they shared beliefs. One group of these early people, the Proto-Indo-Europeans, ended up shaping many myths we know today from India to Greece. Let's zoom into a place near Russia and Ukraine where the Proto-Indo-European beliefs began. Their religious stories spread far and wide. By 1500 BCE, their beliefs showed up in India's Vedic religion. Gods like Indra, the thunder god, and Agni, the fire god. In Vedic tales are pretty similar to the old European gods. Even Greek and Roman gods like Zeus and Jupiter come from these ancient roots. In Iraq, the Sumerians made one of the first writings called cuneiform. They wrote about gods like Anu, the sky god, and Enlil, the storm god. Other groups, like the Akkadians and Babylonians, also worshipped these gods. The Pelasgians, living in what is now Greece, are a bit of a mystery. We think they might have worshipped nature and fertility gods, maybe even the earth goddess Gaia, which later Greeks also believed in. Before Egypt became one big kingdom around 3000 BCE, the north and south had their own gods. When they united, new gods like Horus and Hathor became popular. They also had a big belief called Ma'at, which kept everything balanced in the world. On the island of Crete, the Minoans had their own beliefs. They had cool wall paintings showing religious scenes. Their big god was the Great Goddess, who stood for nature and maybe even the underworld. They had lots of rituals using symbols like bulls and snakes. All these cultures had an impact on Rome. Romulus and Remus, the legends who supposedly started Rome, were influenced by these old tales. One famous story is about Romulus killing his brother Remus, which sounds like another ancient tale about twins Yama and Manu. Another Roman god, Pluto, who ruled the underworld, was linked to farming and wealth. He was one of the gods who brought good times to the people. In a mysterious interplay of legends, Odin is likened to the fleet-footed Mercury. Thor mirrors the mighty Hercules, and Tyr also reflects aspects of Hercules. Freya, the radiant goddess often known as Isis of the Suebi, draws parallels with the fierce warrior, Mars. It's fascinating how the ancient tales intertwine. Herodotus, the historian, links the distant Hyperboreans to the messenger god, Hermes, subtly hinting at Odin's ties to the Grecian pantheon. Julius Caesar, the mighty Roman general who once roamed the lands of Gaul, believes that his family roots are entangled in these age-old tales. Diving deeper into these mythological connections, we find that the early Proto-Indo-European deities shared characteristics with the famous gods of classical times. Mars, recognized for his prowess in war and binding oaths, seems to have some of his origins in a Proto-Indo-European deity who commanded war and held dominion over weather. Neptune, worshipped by Romans as the guardian of the seas, appears to have echoes in the ancient Indo-European sea deity, Nephthys. Interestingly, this god is also reminiscent of the grand Hindu deity, Vishnu. Meanwhile, Minerva, the dual goddess of intelligence and combat in Rome, can find her kin in both the Proto-Indo-European figure Napats and the Irish deity Nakat. Venus, radiant in love, beauty, and life, seems to be the Roman counterpart to the ethereal Hindu dawn goddess Ushas. Further weaving this intricate tapestry of myths, we encounter Demeter, whose bond with a river mirrors a Proto-Indo-European water goddess. Then, towering above many is Dies Pitar, the vast celestial entity who stands shoulder to shoulder with Jupiter, the chief god of the Romans. Jupiter, with his sky-reaching might, also has attributes similar to the shadowy king of the underworld, Hades. Our journey takes us to Egypt. With his fearsome visage of a snake or crocodile, Sobek reigns as the underworld's ruler, forever waiting to consume wicked souls. And Kronos, an Egyptian deity sometimes known as Seb or Geb, links to the blazing sun in Greek and Roman traditions and serves as a bridge, blending cultures and their profound beliefs. Sebaceous, once worshipped by the Thracians, became famous in Greek stories around the 5th century BCE. His followers believed that touching a snake could cleanse them, showing the close bond between nature and the gods. When they gathered to honor Sebaceous, they drank special beverages, used snake symbols, and followed practices inspired by the god Bacchus. This mix of rituals and influences vividly depicts how ancient people worshipped. Then there's Baal, a god from Semitic legends. His story is tangled with many different cultures and ways of thinking. Wherever he was worshipped, he added more layers to the rich history of old religions. Throughout history, regions like Anatolia have been melting pots of beliefs and traditions, shaping the trajectory of human civilization. From the nomadic tribes of Asia Minor to the fascinating structures of Göbekli Tepe, mankind has constantly sought meaning and connection. We've witnessed the evolution of ancient settlements like Jericho and Knossos, and the transition from the Stone Age to the dynamic Copper Age, which saw vast cultural developments. As civilizations thrived, religion became paramount, with legends like that of Odin, Zeus, and Baal echoing across cultures. These ancient narratives, from the Thracian snake rituals to the Semitic legends, form a tapestry that continues to enchant and inform us. As we trace back our steps through these ancient lands and tales, one wonders, what other hidden stories await our discovery? If you've enjoyed this deep dive into history, please like and subscribe for more.